Welcome everyone from the San Bernardino campus, from the Palm Desert campus. My name is Marissa Sithianwin. I'm from the Office of Community Engagement. This session is where My Pawprint Begins. So we're gonna go ahead and just start off with a little poll just to give everyone an idea of where we're at, who we have in the room. So if you can go ahead and start that poll, Jocelyn. So there is about 5 questions you have to answer for this poll. Take a few minutes, scroll up from to view all the questions. And so we'll give you a few minutes to be able to go ahead and do that. So hopefully everyone has had a chance to take the poll. Do you need a few more minutes? Say so on the chat. If not, we will be closing the poll soon. Okay, so it looks like we do have just students on the call today, so welcome you all. We have a few freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. So we have a really good mix of students, so that's exciting. For the first time freshmen, welcome. For all our returners, although this fall is a little different, we welcome you guys back for this fall 2020. Let's see, how many of you all have participated in this week's virtual volunteer fair? No? You guys don't know there's a virtual volunteer fair? Well, I'm glad you guys are here because you still have a chance to participate and view that volunteer fair. We'll go over that shortly within the session. So we want to make sure that you guys have the information and you guys are ready for that. Let's see how many of you feel about volunteering. So we have a good amount of somewhat knowledgeable, very knowledgeable, and it's been a while, so you're here to learn a little bit more, so that's great. It's never too late to start volunteering. And are you familiar with our office? Majority of you are. There's some kind of, and there's just 2 that say no. So here's a little refresher, a little bit about who we are. So we're gonna go ahead and stop sharing. I will move on to the presentation. So a little bit of who we are. So we are the Office of Community Engagement, also known as OCE. We facilitate service learning, community-based research, and volunteer service by engaging our campus back to our local communities by using the skills and tools that you are learning to utilize these in the real world with real issues. Our goal is to empower and enable CSUSB students to engage with their community in class and outside of class. For a lot of students, our office typically gets confused with the Office of Student Engagement. We have very similar names. The only difference is that student and us community. And so when you're looking at the Office of Community Engagement, think of giving back, things that you're doing in the community, things of those nature, where Student Engagement Office is really getting people involved more on campus through your clubs and orgs, through leadership events, gaining that leadership information and resources. So they're a really great office to visit for that type of information. Ours is slightly different. We're more involved in getting you out into the community and giving back and learning those skills in volunteering to connect with your career and things like that. So hopefully that's a little bit better understanding between the 2 offices, but all our offices here at CSUSB are definitely a resource where there's something that you can gain from all of us. This is just what we're all about. So a little bit about our team. So I see that we do have Diane, our director, Dr. Diane Podolsky on the call, but she's our director. And then of course there's me, Marissa Sithianwin. I do student programmings for the office. We have Jocelyn Yap on the call. She's our office manager. And she also does all our social media. And today she's also helping me with the workshop with doing the polls. And she's the one who's actually checking the chat box for us. So again, utilize that chat box if needed. She'll be monitoring it and answering any questions that she can through the chat box. And then we'll also be using the chat box for questions at the end. And then last but not least, we have our last member of our team, Juan Ochoa. He is focused on our faculty programs. And so we are a very small team, but we do kind of encompass a lot of things for our office. But if you need any information, any of us can be able to help you in any way or get you connected to who can answer your question. So that's the team. And of course, we also have our wonderful student staff that are coming back for this fall 2020. So we're excited to have them back as well. And so let's move on to the next slide. So we get this a lot. So why do we volunteer? A lot of us have heard of what volunteering is about. You've probably heard it through church, through school, even if you were through a high school that required volunteer hours in order to graduate. Those are some things that we've all been very familiar with volunteering. So volunteering offers vital help to people in need, brings awareness to worthwhile causes, and connects you to the community. But the benefits can even be greater for you, the volunteer. The right match can help you meet new friends, connect with the community, the ability to network with others within the same field of interest, learn new skills, and even help in advancing your career and goals. The benefits of volunteering can be enormous. And so once you get into higher education, you're at college, you're probably wondering, like, why is it important to still volunteer? Well, not only is it important because the community needs us, it's a great, makes you well-rounded individual, but as you get into your career and your goals of what you want to do after graduation, it's important to start looking at volunteering as something more specific. So something that not only helps the community, but also helps you as a student in your career goals. So really connecting your volunteering to that of your career. So whether it's getting you ready for that internship, getting you ready for that experience, the skills that you need for that job at the end of your 4-year with us, or even for your graduate application. So for many of us, we all worked part-time jobs or are working part-time jobs in order to still go to school and work at the same time. Most of the time, honestly, even for me when I was a student, I didn't necessarily work in my field. I worked something completely different. It was just something to help me pay my bills and get me to, get anything that I needed, things like that. So I really focus on volunteering as part of something that I could add to my resume. So it's not just, you work at a fast food, you work at a mall, or you're working at a dental office. If that's not in your career field, then that resume, having that volunteer experience is really going to help offset that resume to really show that you now have something to vouch for your skills. You now have something that, or someone who can say, yes, I know Marissa, she's volunteered with us for several years, and I know that she'll do really well in this graduate program, or this job is a perfect fit because she has the experience. So those are the type of questions and the type of thinking you need to start thinking, whether you're a freshman or even more for the seniors that we have in this session. If you haven't done so already and you don't have that volunteer experience or that internship experience, now is the time to do it, like now. Freshmen, you still have a little bit of time, but you want to start looking for that volunteer opportunity now, or start looking to see what's out there. Okay, and so we talked a little bit about the benefits. So here's just a quick overview of the 5 benefits of volunteering. So you build your knowledge, the skills, the confidence as a leader in order to achieve your greater success in every area of your life. So this is why volunteering, it makes you well-rounded individual. This is where that concept comes from. Then you also want to explore current, relevant, and global issues that will spark your engaged citizenship. So volunteering, there's a big spectrum of what volunteering means, or different areas, different focuses. And so this is an opportunity for you to see what it is that makes you passionate about volunteering, what makes you more want to give back. We can all volunteer, but if you find that specific issue, whether it's food insecurity, whether it's social justice, whether it's with children, helping the children, or things like that, once you feel like you feel a connection and you feel something passionate, you're going to want to give back. You're going to continue to do that, and you're going to immerse yourself even more. So finding what that is part of volunteering. Practice strategies for leading positive change, such as forming organizations, planning events, volunteering, fundraising, and creating awareness campaigns. Again, this is just really forming you as a person, really giving you that skills that you need to be a leader. You learn concepts and skills that will help interpersonal communication, the goal setting, conflict resolution, team building, time management, ethics, critical thinking, project planning, and cutting-edge leadership practice. Again, a lot of times we volunteer and we don't even realize that we're doing these skills. Or when we sit down for an interview and they ask us, oh, do you have this experience? A lot of times we don't automatically think of our volunteer experience, but this is also getting you the habit of also thinking of things that you're also gaining while you're volunteering that you can use during that interview. And then the last but not least is through this experience you gain while taking the time to volunteer within your chosen career field. It also provides a close-up view of the career path you have chosen, whether it's for you or not. And so this one is really important. We have at CSUSB a lot of students that are interested in the medical field, nursing, social work, and a lot of those are impacted. And a lot of people think that, I really want to be a nurse, but they've never volunteered or they haven't seen that clinical experience. And sometimes they get into their programs and then they realize, I really don't like the patient interaction or the one-on-one, or I don't feel that it's right for me. And sometimes it's a little too late. If you would have known a little bit earlier, maybe you would have then chosen a different career field, or it could be the quite opposite. It could be something that you've done the experience volunteering and now you've committed, this is for you, this has reignited your passion for that career field, and then you continue on to get the experience. So it can be either or experience, but the sooner you start doing that, the sooner you'll be able to know if it's right for you or not. So there is no limit to what can happen when you decide to volunteer. So we hope that since you're here, you are ready to start volunteering. You've decided to learn a little bit more of how that's possible. And so we're ready to go into more information. And so before I continue, is there any questions, Jocelyn, in the chat box?
Not yet.
Okay, so we'll continue on. So a lot of times, again, now you know what volunteering is about, what the benefits are. So now you want to know, where are these volunteer opportunities? How do I know where to start? So this year we're launching what's called our My Pawprint volunteer database. And it's a platform it's a one-stop shop for all things volunteering, for our campus to be able to connect to different volunteer opportunities, what's out there, what's available. And also it's a way for, we have a few of our nonprofits that are already using the platform, and you'll be able to connect with those nonprofits directly. So there's a little bit for everybody. And so we have this information on our website that we'll go over later in the session. And also if you're utilizing Coyote Connection, so if we have any clubs and orgs or any individual students, I know they're starting to promote more Coyote Connection. There is a service tab under Coyote Connection that says service. And you'll click on that and you'll be able to view the volunteer opportunities through Coyote Connection. So there's nothing that you have to sign into something else. You just go through your CSUSB My Coyote portal, and then you go through Coyote Connection, and then you'll be able to go into the service tab and view all that information. Keep in mind, though, that this is barely launching. We just launched this fall, so last week. Our database, we're updating it weekly, especially as the CDC guidelines are changing or restrictions that will affect some of the information on our database. However, on our website that again we'll go over, there is other search engines you can use for volunteer opportunities. There is virtual and in-person opportunities available, just depending on what you're looking for, and the type of volunteer opportunity that you're looking for would depend on your search engine search, okay? So we'll go over that a little bit later. And so for our fall 2020 events, we hope that you received the email information about what our 2020 looks like for fall. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with what's going on this week, as part of Welcome Week, we introduced our virtual volunteer service fair that's going on from August 31st through tomorrow, September 4th, where we have a showcase. It's a video series of showcasing different community partners for each day, for each day of this week. And a little bit about what they're about, ways that you can give back, and then there's also an opportunity for some OCE swag. If you submit 3 surveys for this event, then you'll be able to receive some OCE swag. We also have a secret message in each videos, or a clue, I should say. And at the end of the week, if you've gotten all the clues and figured out the secret phrase, send us an email for a grand prize win. And so that's definitely something to check out. If you've missed it, this is new to you, there's still time. The videos are archived on our website under volunteer, and then you go to virtual volunteer service. And again, I'll show you that once we get to the website section. And definitely go ahead and make sure you see that. And then our next event is September 11th. This year marks the 19th anniversary of the September 11th attacks. And as part of this National Day of Service, although we can't volunteer together, please join us as we remember and honor this day with a Netflix watch party. We're watching United 93, which is a movie about one of the plane that landed in Pennsylvania or crashed in Pennsylvania. You do have to RSVP to this event because we do send you a link a few minutes before 2 o'clock is the start time for this movie on Friday, September 11th. And then we do ask that you, one, have to have a Netflix account to join us. And two, you have to already download a Google Chrome extension for the watch party and be able to join us. So once you RSVP, we do send you all this information for you so that you have everything ready before September 11th. We will also include a Zoom session as we get closer, or we send you the link for the 9/11 event. For whatever reason you're having trouble joining the Zoom, or you just, not the Zoom, I'm sorry, the Netflix movie, we'll have someone in the room, in the Zoom room, ready to help you and assist you in trying to get you back into that Netflix movie. And then last but not least is our signature event, our Coyote Cares Day event. We had to postpone this last spring. And usually this event is our annual campus event where we have 500 participants come and join us. This year it is going to look a little different, but we didn't want to miss an opportunity to have Coyote Cares Day come back. And so we're bringing it back this fall. It'll be a week-long event. It is a 5K event. What we're doing is we have asking students to download a charity app. It's an app through Apple's and Android phones that will be monitoring your movement. So you can walk, you can run, you can bike, any physical movement, even your day-to-day movement. All we're asking is 3.1 miles to be completed within 6 days. You don't have to do it in 6 days. If you want to do it in 1 day or 2 days, you can do that. All you have to do is join one of our teams. We'll have one for San Bernardino campus, Palm Desert campus, and then we're in the works of working with alumni to get them on board and be able to participate with us as they've always done in the past for Coyote Cares Day. And then what the Charity Miles app is for every mile that you walk, there's a greater sponsor that donates money to this app. For every mile that you walk goes to a charity of our choice. So we have chosen Feeding America as our cause. And so all the proceeds would go to Feeding America. There's nothing comes out of your pocket. All we're asking you is to move and be part of this great event. And so more information is on our website. We hope you join us. In the past, Coyote Cares Day has been a group event, but because of the restrictions, we are making this an individual event, something that you can do just from home. You can do it outside. You can do it inside your house. It's really flexible. We will have a toolkit available for you all to also participate virtually. It would be anything from like a start, like something that you can download and print, a starting, a finish, a mile marker, even a runner's bib. So we do ask you guys to be also very engaged on social media, be posting, get other people to participate. And this is definitely an event that the campus could come together and make a good difference. So there's definitely exciting events coming through. Like I said, we've had to make some revisions due to the pandemic. One of the revisions is, if you're familiar with the CSUSB President's Volunteer Service Award, also known as the CPVSA, for this academic year, due to the pandemic, we've decided to pause that program, but we realized that, many of our campus community are still giving back. This pandemic not only brought changes, but it also ignited volunteering in a new way, whether people knew virtual volunteer was a thing or even just the causes that people are giving to. So we really want to make sure that we're still recognizing students for all the amazing work, and not just students, our faculty, our staff, everyone in our campus community that continues to do good. So despite so much being unknown, we know one thing for sure: kindness has not been canceled. Our campus community, from students, faculty, and staff, continue to make positive impacts in our community to those who need it most. even in the face of uncertainty, you continue to do good. So this Do Good Award is open to all CSUSB students, faculty, and staff. However, where the CPBSA was a group award, this is an individual award. So if you are part of the clubs and orgs here at CSUSB, not to say you can't volunteer together, it's just you're submitting your hours separately, you're being recognized individually this time around. Just because of all the restrictions, we just want to make it fair to everyone to be able to still participate with this volunteer recognition in a different way, similar but slightly different from what we've done in the past. And so the eligibility requirements is as follows. So it's going to be per semester. So for the fall semester, it's only 25 volunteer hours minimum is required. There's no signature, no proof required. As always, this is the honor system. We will be checking your hours though and making sure that they fall in line to what volunteering hours mean to us, which is your volunteer hours are submitted must be for non-paid work that is focused on providing services to the off-campus community who receive a direct benefit from your service. So everything is very similar. If you've done the CPBSA with us before, slightly different, new name, and it's an individual award. And the only other difference is for the past CPBSA recipients, usually you submit your hours through Mobile Serve. We're no longer using Mobile Serve for this award. We are using a Google form that is available on our website. And then we also have it linked here on our slide. So you would submit your hours here. The volunteer hours are from June 1st, 2020 through November 30, 2020. The deadline is November 30th, 2020. And we will give you all the way to the end of November 30th to submit your hours. Of course, if you're volunteering already and you already have your hours, feel free to start. Don't wait to the last minute. Feel free to start submitting your hours now. If you volunteered for the same organization, it's not different. The same, you've been volunteering with, just say if a local food pantry, or you've been making masks at home. It's one volunteer over time. You can submit one submission for your hours. So it'll ask you your name, your credit ID, your email, your date of volunteering. So what date was it? If it's overtime, just pick one date within this June 1st, 2020 through November 30th. It'll ask how many hours. You'll put in your hours. And then it'll ask, did you do this with a nonprofit agency? Yes or no. So if you put yes, it'll ask you, what is the agency name? And then it'll go on to provide us a brief description of what you did. And so if you're one of those people that did it over time, make sure in your description you put, I volunteered with so-and-so nonprofit from every Friday for 3 months, and this is what I did. Or if you're the person that did I sewed masks and I did it on my own with no nonprofit, and then I went ahead and gave it out to people or whatever organization, then you could put, no, I didn't do it with any nonprofit. But on my description, I'm still going to put, I did this for 2 weeks straight, or every day or every evening for 3 hours overtime, whatever your time frame was, and I sewed masks. And I then gave them out to those in need. Things like that. It doesn't have to be a long description. I just need an overview of what it is that you did. And then what you receive is leave your Pawprint volunteer shirt, your OCE exclusive swag, and the certificate of achievement. I do want to be very clear that no late submissions will be accepted because we're in semesters. That November 30th deadline is really close to finals. And so we need to be able to have time to not only review your hours, so you'll still receive an email if your hours are approved or denied, and any reasoning of the denial if you were denied. And then we also have to put the packet together for you all. And we have December graduates. So we want to make sure that we have something that gives us enough time to be able to give it to those who need it first, which is our December graduates, but be able to give it to everybody at the same time. So we want to make sure that we're just clear. We're giving everyone a whole semester to submit hours. And so that's enough time, I think, to be able to submit your application on time. And that's why no late submissions will be accepted. Okay, so I hope you guys have enough time to just review everything. As usual, we do have a what doesn't count section, but for whatever reason, right now I'm actually still working on it for the students. So that'll be coming up be completed by the end of this week, so by tomorrow. But if you have any questions anytime you're not sure, hey, does this count? Or I'm a little confused on how I should put my submission, send me an email, send the office an email. One of us will get back to you shortly. We're really good at least replying back to you and letting you know, because it's something that is important to you and to us too, for you to submit your hours. So feel free to reach out to us. We're here to help you with that. And so again, if you're unfamiliar with our office, our Leave Your Paw Print at CSUSB.edu is our office email. That goes to actually all of us here in the office. And so if you have a question, definitely that's the best way to email us. And then follow us on all our social media platforms. We're still very active every day to be doing that and be able to, if you have a question there, feel free to DM us. Our social media team will get the question to whoever it needs to go to, and then we'll be able to assist you with that. And so let's go briefly over to our website here. So this is our main page. So the Do Good Award, what we just briefly went over, you'll just go, it has its own designated tab, and you'll read all the information here. You can submit your application here, or we also have all the information, special deadlines, what do you receive, and you can submit your hours here. The FAQ section goes over briefly of a lot of most frequently asked questions that we get. And then, of course, if you scroll a little bit to the top, we also have what doesn't count. This is the section where I mentioned that I'm still working on the student section. Faculty has theirs up and running already. Hopefully, I'll get mine up tomorrow. And so that is information for the Do Good Award. For Coyote Cares Day Virtual 5K, you'll find the information on the next tab. And that tab kind of breaks down all the information and a little bit more details about where to get the charity miles. You could do it through here or use your phone, how you create your account, make sure you log in and choose Feeding America as your charity of choice for this event. You join our team. Again, it's a San Bernardino one, a Palm Desert campus one, and then we're also in the works, as I mentioned, of doing alumni. So if you have any friends that are alum, please tell them about the Coyote Cares Day event. This kind of just breaks down the information on what it is, how you're syncing it, just information of that. And then to complete the 5K, what everyone wants to know, how do you get that Coyote Cares Day swag? And so all you need to do is by October 24th, which is when the Coyote Cares Day event ends, which is also Make a Difference Day, at midnight, you have to take a screenshot of your activity tab, the far right bottom of the Charity Miles app, and that'll break down the date, and it also says how many miles you've done each day, so you'll be able to make sure you catch the 3.1 miles, because we'll be counting it. And then you upload that to your completion form, and as an option, we do ask you to take photos using our toolkit or seeing how you're participating. That is just an optional one. We just want to see you guys engage and really going out there and showing your Coyote Cares Day pride. And then you, again, upload it for all. We'll review all the submissions. And then once we review the submissions, you will receive an additional email of a future date, time of when you can, we'll be hosting a drive-through pickup option for both campuses, both San Bernardino, Palm Desert campus, for the completion packet. And so you'll get your certificate of completion, your Coyote Cares Day shirt, a Coyote Cares Day gift, and then a completion button. And then you'll also be entered into an opportunity drawing for an additional OCE swag. So you don't want to miss out on that. The toolkit will be located here. It's coming soon. So we'll have that information for you guys and available before this event. But please make sure you know Coyote Cares Day is only going to be October 19th through the 24th. But of course, if you really, I use this app personally. If it's something that you can find a charity that means something to you, please continue to use it. It's a great app to just be physically moving and knowing that all your movement and all your miles go towards a charity of your choice. Just only for our event, we ask it to be for Feeding America, please. And then for all your volunteer information, you go to the volunteer tab. This is where you'll find your 9/11. We have an engaged CSUSB blog that just kind of goes over just news articles that we've kind of written and we think it'll be important for students. We do have a civic engagement tab, and that one kind of goes over the importance of civic engagement, why it's important to students to give back, whether for right now it's for the census and really getting that information out there. For voter engagement is another way you can be involved. And so ASI is also working on doing voter engagement event. So keep a look out that, because that's another way you can be involved in making sure that your voices are heard. And then we have a media gallery of different events. For those of you who are not sure where to go see that virtual volunteer fair, you will find it here. And then for volunteer opportunities, that's where you'll click to see the My Pawprint Give Pulse. And so here's the information that we have now. Just note though, like here, it'll just say register, but there's some things that we're posting in behalf of nonprofits. So you have to make sure when you click on the organization or as you view the information that you know who posted it. So a lot of times if you click on there, I hope that you guys can still see that it's taking me to make blankets for foster children. So this is something that they posted. So they provide the information here, and you can register for that volunteer opportunity. That's okay, you can do that. But for example, if it's something so that one shows our school, right? But it's really for Foothill Family Shelter. But it'll show, because I actually made this event in behalf of the shelter. Make sure that this is an open opportunity, but you need to contact this person here to be able to sign up for the volunteer registration. So for some, our nonprofits are already on there. For some that are still working on getting someone on there to post their events, where we're doing them the favor of posting it in their behalf. So sometimes it'll show that we posted the event, but read the posting carefully to make sure that the contact information is for you to register or for you to contact someone. Because if you register and it's something that I posted, you're only registering to me, not necessarily to the volunteer opportunity. So you wanna make sure that you read that information. And then some of them will say this is a virtual volunteer opportunity, or some of them will show that it doesn't say. So then you may want to get more clarification. Is that a virtual volunteer opportunity or is this in person? And then of course decide if that's something you still want to continue. Again, if you're interested in this opportunity, you need to contact. So it's in 2 places. So I made sure that people know that this is something that they have to contact someone else for. So just be really mindful of that. And then back on our website, as we're building up this database, there's also other search engines, as I mentioned. And so you can go to All for Good, Volunteer Match, Arrowhead United Way, Just Serve, Do Something are some of the search engines you can use for volunteer opportunities. Again, if you're looking for virtual, look for the words virtual or online, if that's something you're looking for, okay? And then we just go over what are the do and don'ts of volunteering on this page. And then if you want to have some music as you volunteer, we do have a Spotify to get you into those volunteer vibes. So feel free to download that and click on our playlist. It's definitely there for you. And then feel free to just go through our website and see what is available. And so let me go ahead and switch back to our session. And so before we end, let me go ahead and we'll do one more poll before we end. Jocelyn, can you run that poll?
Yes, I'm launching it right now. So here's the second and the last poll.
And there's just 2 questions on this poll.
Awesome. I think that's hopefully everybody. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. And here is our result.
Yes, I'm so happy to see that everyone almost is ready to volunteer, everyone that took the poll. So thank you for taking the poll. I'm happy to see that you guys found this session. Someone who said it was somewhat, definitely send us a chat to see if there's anything else that you were looking for that we didn't answer or go over. We are definitely here for you guys to get you on that road to leaving your paw prints in the community. So this is the part where we're opening it up to questions. Feel free to use the chat box, or you can raise your hand if you want to unmute yourself. and ask a question, now is the time. For those who aren't sure, then definitely shoot us an email. But don't leave yet after these questions. We do have a survey for you to take. Well, really, it's just getting your information so that you can get some OCE swag for participating today.
Sorry, we do have questions. I know I've kind of answered some of them through the chat already in regards to where to view the virtual volunteer fair videos. Yvonne had provided our handler for IG. So it's at CSUSB, Leave Your Paw Print. It can also be viewed on our Facebook too as well, which I had already shared, which is the CSUSB.pawprint. And also it's available on our YouTube page too as well. So there's plenty of platforms for you to use. There is two more questions. One in regards to the Do Good Award. So one question, it states that if we miss the deadline, say for the fall, are we able to submit those hours for the following semester?
Okay, that's a good question. So unfortunately, no, you can't add on because it kind of like does a restart. So for the fall semester, the dates are from June to November, and for the winter semester, for spring semester, I guess you should call it, it'll be from December 1st through May. It'll be right before finals week. So we end a little early in semesters. So it'll be a May deadline. So it just kind of, unfortunately, if you missed it for that semester, but you have a chance again to redo another one or do one for spring semester. So for those who continue on, so just say you got your OCE swag, you got your t-shirt, you already did everything for fall. We do, recommend that you continue to do the next 25 hours because that doesn't mean you'll get the same award. Actually, you'll get something different. And so we want to still continue to encourage you to submit your hours and continue to volunteer. If you happen to miss the fall, then of course you'll get the t-shirt, the gift, and the certificate of achievement for the spring semester.
Thank you. A second question, say the students volunteering every Sunday at their church, drive-through services. Will that count for community service hours or volunteer hours for the Do Good?
Okay, so church is always a little tricky. That's one of the ones that even for the CPVSA is always tricky. It depends what you're doing for church. So for example, if every Sunday you are passing out, like if your church has like a food pantry of some sort, or they're giving out food as a drive-through type, and that's your job as a volunteer, then yes, that would count for the Do Good Award. But if you're doing like, you're passing out the pamphlets or the readings of that day, or you're doing more church-related stuff, then unfortunately that does not count because that's something you're doing towards your religious service and things of that nature. So it wouldn't count. There is a difference. If you're doing something with your church and they're putting blankets together or socks for the homeless together, and then you are doing you're then also passing out those socks or blankets, that definitely counts. But just say you're also doing outreach with your church and you're like doing a service of some sort or praying or things like that, then that time frame wouldn't count, but everything else would count, if that makes sense. So hopefully I was able, but if it's something very specific, definitely send me an email and we can talk about it.
Okay, there's another question in the chat. We saw something about at PDC about receiving graduation sash for volunteer hours. Would this go towards that, or was that related to CPVSA or President's Service Award?
Actually, it was entirely separate. So PDC does have a separate, they not only participate with us when we had CPVSA and this Do Good Award now, that's entirely separate. They have a different way of submitting hours. And so you'll want to reach out to PDC on that. And I believe it's Dr. Rogers is the person you may want to contact, or her administration. Or you can send me an email and I will get you the right exact person who you need to reach out to. But I know it's Dr. Rogers' area that is doing those in particular for those graduations cords.
But they can certainly enter those hours for both programs. So
you can enter both, but if you enter it to ours, they're not going to receive it, is what I'm saying. It's two different submissions. You can use your hours twice. It's just some of their, what they require as volunteer is a different definition of us. So you want to make sure how you're submitting it and what the guidelines are.
And if anybody wants to unmute themselves, if you guys have any questions that you just want to say it, feel free. Otherwise, Marissa, would you like me to share the Qualtrics form for the survey? Yes.
So if you guys can just, we say survey, but really it's just we need your name, your first and last name, your Coyote ID number, and an email for everyone who's participating with us. We did not really promote it that way, but we are giving you guys all some OCE swag. So we want to know who you are. And so please provide that information to us. That survey will be up for a few hours. So please feel free to take it. And then you'll be hearing from us about your OCE swag. And thank you guys again for joining us. We're really excited to start this fall 2020. There's a lot of opportunity for you guys to give back. And for any questions, we're here for you. And this concludes our session. So thank you.
I had just a quick question, if I could ask real quick.
Yeah, sure.
I've been going to our community garden on campus. I was in the committee who started it back up, but I haven't been going for my work as much anymore. I don't get paid. Is that an opportunity? I've been going since March, but I know the hours would only be from June till November, you had said.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible for me to use those hours within the Do Good
Award?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Sage, you would. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And then I have another question, not last one, but would this workshop count as volunteer information? Is that what you're asking, Brianna? Sorry.
Oh, what I was asking is this a volunteer information workshop?
Yeah, this is just our office community engagement, the type of stuff that we offer and our resources that we can offer to you in our services. If you're looking for, does this count towards the Do Good Award? Unfortunately, workshops do not count because what we're really focusing on that Do Good Award is the action. So the things that you're doing to give back to the community, to give back to others. And so this is just informative, and so it would not count. 9/11 would also not count the Netflix, but if you're doing something outside, like if you're doing any good deeds during 9/11 in honor of it, then those would count. Coyote Cares Day does count. So that's 4 hours right there. Regardless if you do it all in one day or however you break it up, we will give you automatically 4 hours. So you just remember you input that you participated and you put 4 hours for that day.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So last call for questions. If not, then I know we're close to end time, or we may have gone over. So so thank you again for joining us. And again, you have our email address and social media handles. Feel free to send us a message if needed.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.